Hi everyone, my name is Megan Skinner. I am the Community Support Specialist at the WCA this year, and I'm here with one of our amazing volunteers, Courtney Williams. She's also an ambassador for us as well, and she is here doing her volunteer testimony. Is going to tell us a little bit about her story. So Courtney, would you mind introducing yourself and just telling us a little bit about what your role is for the WCA?
Sure, I would love to. So my role as a volunteer at the WCA is to be an ambassador as well as an outreach volunteer talking about the spreading the awareness of domestic abuse and violence in the community, as well as writing articles for the monthly newsletter sharing my own story. And that has been very healing for me in my own situation.
Thank you, Courtney. So why do you choose to spend your time at the WCA? There's, I'm sure, lots of other things that you have going on in your life. Why spend your extra time at the WCA?
For me, it comes back to if you don't talk about something, it becomes like a stigma of, oh, this can't happen to me, this can't happen to my family. But I think the more that you talk about it, the more confidence that you have to bring up the abuse issues in our society, the more confidence that you put into other people, and that only gives them more confidence to go into the community and talk about it, and just not be a bystander anymore. You just really reach out to other people, and that's just really dear to my heart, to put that out there and spread the word as much as I can, as well as to share my own story. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's a hard topic. It's really raw, and it's real.
Yeah. So what do you think is one thing that you've learned through your experience here with us?
So two things. The thing that I learned the most, I think, is that in talking to a wide variety of people about abuse, is that it doesn't discriminate. Yeah, it can be rich, poor, black, white. It doesn't discriminate. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that people think that it can't happen to them, but it can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The second thing that I noticed is that being out in the community, people don't necessarily want to talk about abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's almost like if they don't talk about it, it actually does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just is under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't talk about it and I don't acknowledge it, then it's really not real.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is that's challenging to watch, because people will literally, if you're at like a table hosting something, they will literally walk the other direction or just not really make eye contact with you, because they know what you're trying to spread awareness about, and it's just easier to move on and not talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of disheartening and disturbing, because it is so prevalent and widespread in our community, especially in Boise, Idaho, as well as across the nation.
Absolutely, and that's why I think it's so great to have volunteers like yourself, because obviously we have limited staff, and you guys are kind of our voices on the ground to talk about that stuff. We can't be everywhere, but to have volunteers like yourself going and advocating out in the community, we just couldn't pursue this mission without you. So, why do you think the WCA is important to the Boise community?
I would say the importance of the WCA is, for some people, it's a hope, a freedom, and it's another chance at life. When you're in an abusive relationship and you may decide to leave, or you're recognizing that you're in it, you don't know necessarily where to begin, like where to go, who to trust. And so the WCA is one of the first places a lot of people will go. And that's really important to have in the community when there's such a prevalence of it. And I'm hoping, as an ambassador and a volunteer, that the WCA services around for years to come,
Mhm.
because I have heard so many amazing stories come out of this organization.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you.
that's why I love being a part of it,
Yeah.
to see that
Mhm.
and to have just those connections.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any advice for people who may want to get involved, but they may not really be sure how to give back to their community in some way, even if it's not necessarily to the WCA, but to any of the great nonprofits that we have in the area?
Yes, if you feel any need or desire to go out and give back to your community, in whatever that capacity is, just do it, because you're not going to lose anything by putting yourself out there and really firmly walking in the community and giving back. If anything, I honestly think volunteering for the WCA will give you a whole new perspective on the value of what life is. And life is precious, and life is short, and love should not hurt. The more we can bring awareness to abuse, the better. And for generations to come, if we can decrease the amount of the abuse in the world, then I will keep trudging along with this organization, because it's so dear to my heart.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time and just for everything that you do for the WCA. You're one of our strongest, biggest advocates. You're always signing up to volunteer at events, even when you're so busy and work a full-time job as well. So thank you so much for
You're welcome.
all that
Thank
you
you.
do for us.